With the first pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Zion Williamson from Duke.
Up for the layup! Oh, blocked by James! They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan. Right back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Mamba out.
How's it going? Welcome back to the Shot Clock Podcast. My name is Nathan Shaw. I'm here with Galen Robinson Jr. Galen, how are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. My boys are headed to the Elite Eight. I could be feeling better.
Yeah, University of Houston. I mean, you had a great career with them. You were the second most winningest player in franchise or in college history for the basketball team. So really, I mean, what's that like for you to be the second most winningest player in that career?
Honestly, I think it's a testament to the coaching staff. Coach Sampson, he's done a tremendous job rebuilding that program. And it's showing what he teaches, what he preaches. It's all about winning, and I guess that's why the school is having the successes they're having. And I'm glad that that's why I had the success that I had.
Yeah, I mean, you had great success with him. I mean, 103 victories as a player, and then also you set a franchise or a University of Houston record with 136 games played. So, I mean, you were hustling out on the court. So, I mean, really, you did amazing.
Yeah, and then I didn't miss any games. Like, granted, I had injuries. Like every summer, I had a major injury, but like fortunately enough, I didn't have to miss any games. So I think that's why I was able to play so much. And then a lot of times when you think you hurt, coach ain't gonna let you be hurt anyway, so he's gonna make you play.
So, all right, talking a little bit about injuries. I know from a fan's perspective of injuries, whenever you watch LeBron go down with an ankle sprain just the other night, you want them to come back right away. But as a player yourself, really, what's your perspective on injuries as a fan and player?
Mine, one thing I learned is that it takes a lot longer to heal mentally than it does physically. Like the body kind of regenerates kind of fast, but as far as the way you get hurt, like with me, like the second time I broke my foot, I came down on someone's foot. So it's like from a jump shot. And it's just like, sometimes to this day, like if people get too close, like I don't want to jump, just cause like, I just remember that's how, and like I had to miss like a lot of times I didn't want to miss. But I think that's the biggest thing is just recovering more mentally than physically.
Yeah, and you broke your foot 2 times, like you said.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
really, that's got to be hard as a player to take that kind of toll. But you've came back. Now you're playing for Austin, Texas for the Spurs there. So really,
yeah.
I mean, you've had a great recovery and great success off of that.
Yeah. And then also I feel like a lot of the times, like the reason why I may have had those injuries is because I was doing too much. Like I was working out a lot. And not really taking care of my body, but like being a pro, like they kind of emphasize taking care of your body, not doing too much, just getting in, get your work in and getting out, So I think that's why I'm able to kind of maintain like better health now than I was able to in college.
Yeah, and talking a little bit more about maintaining your body health. I know I swim. I don't play basketball or anything, but as soon as swim season's over, I go straight to like recovery mode off of like working out straight for 4 months. I just go straight to like eating good again.
Yeah.
eating big meals. And as a pro athlete, what's that kind of like for you once off season hits?
It's kind of different for me because like I don't really like taking time off. Like one of my mentors at U of H, his name was Mikael McLean. He's an assistant coach there now, and like I remember after I broke my foot after I broke my foot the first time, after the season, the second year I was like the second year leading up to me breaking my foot like that off the start of the offseason, he told me to take 2 weeks off, and it was so hard for me to take those 2 weeks off because like I'm just so used to working, but thank God for him because now after the bubble, nobody needed to tell me to take no time off. I took like 2.5, 3 weeks off. Like I'm still chilling to this day. And I got back from the bubble like March 11th. So like, and my birthday is March 31st. So I'm gonna probably kick things back up after my birthday. But I've been chilling, not even worried about nothing. Not worried about nothing, bro. Like nothing.
Well, I mean, right now we're not in quarantine, but obviously once quarantine hit, you just finished up your college career, so that had to be a little hard on you to kind
No,
of.
actually, no. It was. I just finished up. Like I was in the back end of my first professional season. So
Okay.
like when it hit, like I was in Austin, and boy, that was rough. That was rough.
Yeah. So what
Like
was that like?
everything was closed. Like there was nobody on the roads. Like it looked like, it was weird, bro. Like it was never, obviously I'd never been in a pandemic before, but grocery store was empty. Like it was just something that people thought was going to last probably like a month. And here we are like exactly a
Yeah.
year later, we're still in the same type of predicament. But I think people now are just over it. Like they're just over trying to be in quarantine.
Yeah, and being a pro athlete during quarantine, like I know I found a way to innovate off of quarantine. And that was starting this podcast, and you
Yeah.
was Substantial started during, which is your clothing brand. Was that started
Yeah.
during quarantine?
No, I started that right after I got out of college. Like I couldn't do it as a student because of certain how the NCAA works. Like they don't want you doing nothing. So I had to wait until I graduated in order to like get it off the ground. And like in hindsight, like that was great because it gave me like an opportunity to not rush into it. Like, you think of an idea, you want to start it, but it might not be the time for you to start. So like it gave me time to kind of brainstorm and kind of come up with some like good ideas, because like the ideas that I had at first, the ones that I thought of, they were like, looking back, they were terrible. They were garbage. But like by me having to wait till I graduated, I was able to come up with so much new stuff. And that's probably what helped me sustain success to this day.
Yeah, and you're being a Black creator. It's not always easy being Black because you face a lot of oppression and people talking down on your race. So really,
Yeah.
being a Black creator, how hard is that?
I try not to look at the negative of things. I just try to see the light. And it's just, I guess the beauty of being a Black creator is just you get to see so many other Black creators, because like how Instagram does it with the ads and stuff like that. Like they know that I have a business. Like they know Substantial is a clothing company, and I have a page for it. So like I see a lot of other people's stuff, and it's like it's kind of cool to see like how creative people can get with just a hoodie. Like it's crazy how much stuff you can add to it. You know what I'm saying? And that's just to me, that's probably the most refreshing part.
Yeah, I just made merch today myself, and it's a lot harder than what it seems. I
Yeah,
think
it is.
incredibly hard. Do you come up with the designs on your own? Do you work with a crew to do that?
Nah, I come up with them by myself, but I might ask a couple of my right hands, like, does it look good? Like, just to get some kind of validation, because it looks good to me. But a lot of like you think everything you do looks good, but you want it from like a different perspective. So I might ask some of my friends like about certain color mixtures, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, yeah, it's off the dome, man, straight off the dome.
So what when you're designing clothes and when you're designing your hoodies and everything, what do you like? What stands out to you is what makes a good hoodie or what makes a good t-shirt that's going to sell the most?
I feel like you have to do stuff that you like, because if you're trying to cater to an audience that you're not even a part of, then that's not going to work. But wait, what was the question again? I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
You're all good. What's like whenever you're designing, what stands out to you is what makes a good clothing piece?
I just think the simplicity. How do I say this? You said what stands out to me? It's just like a lot of times, like with me, when I first started, I was always trying to force myself to create something and like come up with a new idea. But like a lot of times you just have to be in the mood for certain things. So like a lot of times, like a lot of the work that I've done recently is just, I was just in the mood of, it's kind of hard. It's kind of like, you can't always listen to Lil Baby. You know what I'm saying? There's certain times you got to turn on the weekend. You know what I'm saying? So it's like different times call for different kinds of ideas. And like a lot of times that's what I go off of. Whenever I'm in the mood or whenever I feel like a certain type of way, that's what I'll kind of cater to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And I know myself, I have this problem where I start creating, and like when I DM'd you, I was in an addiction of like DMing a bunch of people trying to get a bunch of interviews. And there's like a sort of like addiction that you get on, or a sort of high that you get out of interviewing people, or that you get out of like contacting these people, or you get out of creating something? Do you ever get that whenever it comes to clothing?
Yeah, for sure. Just cause like I genuinely enjoy it. Like, it's kind of hard to not, it's kind of hard to not get that high when you're doing something that like you kind of like, so and it, basketball, it kind of takes up it takes up a lot of mental space, and sometimes you just need to escape it. So like I definitely use Substantial to kind of escape and just do something that just kind of do something freely.
I gotta ask, what's the idea behind Substantial? What kind of fueled that idea?
What kind of fueled it? There's a lot of stuff, but I'll just tell you the simplest thing is just this. It's just that like I feel like a lot of times with clothing, people try to do too much, and like I just like simple stuff. So like of course like I feel like Substantial, like obviously it's simple, but it's like it's clean. I kind of like the simple, clean look. So that's kind of like the identity that I try to adapt, because that's what I like. But for this guy right here, he might like flamboyant V-Lone, it's different stuff to different folks, you know what I'm saying? So like, you gotta just pick what you like,
What inspired the idea for you besides obviously wanting to create, but what made you want to create this brand?
There's a lot of things as well, but like I said, that the most influential factor is probably one of our alums who went to University of Houston. His name is Lanny Smith. He played in the league, and his career was short-lived due to injuries, but he started his company called Active Faith, and like Steph Curry's like a big part of it, so like it's tremendously successful. But he came by and talked to us, and I remember him saying that like the ball isn't gonna bounce forever, and like obviously he gave that talk to us when I was a senior, and that really resonated with me. Whereas if I was a freshman, I might not have really paid him any mind, So yeah, that's what inspired it. And I remember thinking like, okay, this is something I can do, like, and then I got my own idea. I was gonna name it something else, but that name was already taken. And then one morning I woke up and it was just Substantial. And then boom, that's how it went.
Yeah, it's like one of those ideas that like kind of hit you. Like I remember when I came up my podcast, I was having dreams of like interviewing all these people in front of a microphone. And then one morning I woke up and I was like, the shot clock. And I was like, man, I was like, that kind of has a good ring to it. So I feel like that's very similar.
It was just like it was just because like I was trying to think of something all night. And then when I woke up, it was like Substantial. Like it was crazy how like that was literally the first thing that was on my mind. I woke up Substantial. I was like, wow, like that was crazy.
Yeah. And what's so crazy about it is it's like, when you think the hardest about something, like I know right now with making merchandise myself and making apparel, it's like you think so hard about it, and it's just it doesn't come out as good as you would like it to.
Yeah,
and
then you kind of check your mind thinking that if you look at something long enough, you can find something wrong with it.
Yeah,
that's it is. But like both the flow.
Yeah, and it's like whenever you're just sitting there and you're just sitting playing Xbox or playing 2K or even sitting here doing a podcast or anything, you're just like, man, here's a really good idea. Let's do this design.
Yeah, it definitely hits you at the oddest of times. Like it definitely does for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you've been working hard on this brand for the past, how many years have you been doing this for?
I'm coming up in May, it'll be my second year. So it's been like a year and 10 months. So yeah, I'm coming up on 2 years, man. It's definitely been cool.
You got any interesting ambassadors that you have for the brand?
Not yet. A couple of my buddies, like they play in the league and they like wear it. But as far as ambassadors, now I'm gonna have to get some. But as of right now, no, I don't have any.
So what's your next step for that clothing for Substantial? What's your next step?
Obviously is growth, but it's just like I really don't know. Like I have a lot of steps, but yeah, as far as it's probably growth, and then eventually I wanted to evolve into like maybe housing, and then like some community stuff, stuff like that. But right now it's clothing, and that's the venue I kind of want to use to attack in order to reach those other goals.
So I want to focus a little bit on my topic here to the G League bubble. You're one of the few lucky people to get to participate in a bubble. I mean, it may not be lucky for you, but for myself, I consider that like really lucky, because for a lot of these fans and young athletes, they aspire to like get to participate in a pro league. As me wanting to be an ESPN analyst, I aspire to want to be in a bubble one day and or be
Yeah.
in the bubble for the G League or NBA and get to experience that firsthand. So from your perspective, what was the bubble like in the G League firsthand?
Like you said, it's definitely a blessing because a lot of people. It was definitely a select few people who got that opportunity, and I was one of them. But like me, I was in the player pool, and when you're in the player pool, you're not on anybody's team. It's kind of like you're just getting paid to work out, which is cool because I work out at home for free. So it was definitely that was definitely cool. But you see everybody else playing with teams, and like with me, I found myself kind of losing motivation because dang, I didn't get picked up yet. Just normal stuff that you think of as an athlete. Like, man, I want to play. I want to play. Because when I went to the bubble, I had just got back from Germany. So I was kind of still eager to play. And but I just tried to stay focused on the main goal, which is try to just continue to get better every day. So whenever I got the opportunity to play with Austin again, they called me up, and now I was ready because I tried to focus on the right things when I wasn't with the team. That way, when I got picked up, it wouldn't be I was mentally there whenever I got picked up. So but yeah, the bubble, it was definitely good for me. I definitely feel like I played well. I showed a lot of good things, and I was just grateful for the opportunity. Honestly, because I know there was guys who who didn't get called up until later, who would have loved to be in the position that I was in. So I never take things like that for granted.
Yeah, and I mean, you talked about kind of having that attitude of wanting to play. And I mean, you're in a whole different mode of wanting to play because usually when you play in high school or college, it's I want more minutes or I want to go
Yeah,
to college and play ball. And then you get to college, it's I want more minutes and I want to go pro. And then you go
yeah,
pro and it's I want more minutes or I just want picked up by a team. So really you're at that point of where you want more minutes and to have the chance to play for a team.
yeah. Definitely. And it's obviously, my goal is to try to make it to the NBA level, but obviously I'm not there yet. So it's just you got to just keep working, man. You got to keep doing because there's a million guys like me, trying to make it to that level, but it's just what is going to separate me from them. And I remember in the bubble when we were in quarantine, I know there's a lot of guys who we were getting our food delivered to us. It was basically the dream life if you're a lazy dude. But it was killing me. But it's just so I was doing push-ups, sit-ups, calf raises, just because I knew the other guys, there are a lot of other guys who weren't doing that. And it was gonna give me an edge. And it's guys like me need every edge they can get. And I've learned that. So yeah, but at the end of the day, just trying to just push every day to get to where I need to go, which is I think is the NBA level.
Well, one thing that's interesting to me is, I mean, you got to stay at Disney for completely free.
Yeah,
So
facts. Free food. Hey, man, it was free food. It was free food. That's all you need to worry. It's free food. You weren't paying for food. Every meal was free, and it was however much you wanted. That's a dream. And there was so many dudes who was ordering something every day, wasting. I saved so much money getting free food for that month. It was crazy. Man, God bless my pockets. That was tremendous.
So you were sitting there and you're waking up to Mickey Mouse waffles. What's on your most interesting?
No, it wasn't that sweet. You had to our hotels, they were kind of far from everything. The cafeteria, it was a mile walk to get that food. But I made that walk every day, multiple times a day, because I know I was not paying $25, $30 per meal dealing with Uber. Not at all. Not a chance. No, sir.
Now, real quick, I gotta ask, what hotel did you guys stay in the same hotels as the NBA players stayed in, or
no? They stayed in the one. I mean, honestly, I'm not even sure. They said that they stayed at the one that was across from where we were, because the NBA, they had the entire facility. We only had a portion of it, so that was what the difference there. But I don't think we stayed in the same hotels, but we stayed on the same complex, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like I was about to say, what's one of your most interesting bubble stories you had, because you were there for about a month in
Yeah.
quite a weird situation. So what's one of the most interesting stories?
I just wouldn't say I wouldn't say it was more so interesting than it was kind of how do I the gravity of moments was just, they were just, how do I explain this? Because you're in a bubble with a bunch of guys. I was on a player pool team, and you're just in there with a bunch of guys that you've seen, because obviously everybody knows each other in the basketball world, but a couple of guys that you've seen that you know of that you've never spoken to. And it's just like, obviously I knew that they knew, like we all know each other, but we just don't know each other. And it's like getting to know those guys, that was probably the most like, that was cool because like for example, like Mike Bibby was my coach. It was like, I remember watching Mike Bibby. I remember my papa, like watching, like, watching Mike Bibby. And it was like, I was like, bruh, like you're my coach. And it's like, you're talking to me. Like, it's kind of surreal. Like I'm tripping over my words. Cause I just remember like him telling me like, oh yeah, I think you like him really like dissecting my game and telling me what he likes. And I was like, wow, like Mike Bibby really, he messed with me. Like, that's crazy. But I'm just getting to know some of the guys that I've competed against. It was definitely fulfilling. Like, it was definitely cool because those are a good group of guys.
Yeah, and getting to talk to Mike Bibby, I mean, that would be a dream of mine to be able to talk to Mike Bibby. I mean, that'd be crazy to fulfill that.
Yeah, and I was just picking his brain, man, because we played the kind of similar position, and it was just cool to kind of pick his brain, and like he was sharing a lot of NBA stories with us, man. That was some really cool stuff, for real.
Yeah, and what's one of his most interesting NBA stories he told you?
I think it was the hold on, wait. I think he was telling us about the week that he was averaging 40, like, and he got like player of the week. That was a cool story. I can't really get into the details of that, but that was a cool one. Like that was live. And he was like, he said like he never scored 40 points except for that entire week that he did. Like that was the only time he did was within that week, and he did it multiple times in that week. And that was kind of live for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, you're more of a passer than a scorer.
Yeah,
so when you get advice from a lot of these scorers, how do you take that in?
I don't know. It's just like a lot of people think that I can't because I don't, but like I know that I can. Like I've done it. But obviously it's like if I'm your team's leading scorer, then there's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that's not who I am, and and that's okay with me. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's a lot of guys who can score, but that won't help their team. That won't help their team win. Whereas if they had a guy like me, maybe their team might win more. So it goes both ways. But obviously we play different styles of basketball. But he's played against guys like me, and he sees my value and how I can help a team. So it's more so like how do I explain this? Like taking what they tell me and kind of adding it to myself with my own, like how it applies to me, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not sure if I said that right, but nah, it's talking to Mike Bibby, man. Can't put a price tag on that.
So I want to talk a little bit about the NCAA bubble they got going on right now. Obviously, you're not a part of it with you being a pro, but yeah. I mean, you played for University of Houston, and now here they are going to the Elite Eight. So what's that kind of like? Watching a team that you grew up, I'm sure you grew up watching them as you're from Houston. Yeah. So what's that kind of like watching?
When I was growing up, it wasn't that much to watch because they weren't that good. But like my dad, he played there. I played there, so I've kind of had University of Houston ties. And I just remember just what it used to be. Like when I was in high school, and like one of my buddies, his name was Steve, Big Steve. Whenever we were just bored out of our minds, we like, bro, let's go to a U of H game. Like I got free tickets. So we go, and it's just like the game will be empty. Be nobody there. They'd probably be losing. Like it was just everything that was just unappealing. That's what they were. And now it's like, it's the complete opposite. It's new arena, fans crazy, like sponsored by Jordan. They're perennial top 25 team, making the NCAA tournament every year. It's just like, how can you not appreciate being a part of something like that? Because like I know how hard we worked, like the foundation that was laid. I know how hard we worked to kind of make this all come a reality, and that's kind of surreal to see, and it definitely warms my heart seeing those guys have the success that they're having, because they definitely earned it.
Yeah, and they were one of the higher seeds this year, so I mean, it's nothing. None of their success has become short or unexpected, and obviously, I mean, they've got some good teams to face up against in the upcoming future as far as they make it.
Yeah.
And so really, I got to talk about your bracket a little bit. Did you fill out a March Madness bracket?
Honestly, how do I don't really like filling out March Madness brackets. Like, obviously, I got U of A's winning it all, but it's just like, how do I say this? It's like, if I could see how the game start, then I'd be able to give you a semi-perfect bracket. Like, for example, like when UT was playing ACU, like I can tell from how UT started that game that they were going to lose. But like, obviously on paper, the more appealing team is Texas. But like, you have to, it's a lot of factors that go into that. But I feel like if I was able to see the start of games, I'd be able to predict like a pretty reasonable outcome, like a
So I
good
gotta
bracket.
ask, with that type of, I mean, look into the game. Whenever you're looking at the beginning of a game, how do you kind of expect that this team's going to lose? So let's say it's Oral
It's
Roberts
just like,
versus Arkansas yesterday.
okay, that's a different story. But like with teams like ACU and Texas, like kind of the earlier rounds, it's like ACU came out breathing fire. Like them dudes was playing like their life was on the line. Like it was noticeable. And it's like I just felt like Texas, they were just too cool. And then like whenever teams are doing things that they don't normally do, like for example, like when U of H played Rutgers, like I think Rutgers was the worst free throw shooting team like in the Big Ten, but against us they were shooting like 80%. They haven't did that all year. You know, like those are like ingredients for an upset. Like thank God we put out the dub, but if they would have been themselves and missed every free throw like they usually do, then it would have been a different game.
So real quick, I got to talk about before we close off. Oh wow, it just left my mind. But okay, I think it's coming to me now. Never mind, it's not.
No, but I got something to say about the Mike Bibby story though. I think the better one was when like he told us like they had called all the Jordan Brand athletes, like they called them all to dinner, like he called them all to dinner like with Jordan there, and he talked shit to all of them. And I was just like, dang, like that's some cold-blooded stuff, bro. Like I was like, wow, like he's really like in with MJ. Like that was crazy. Like that story blew. Like he was talking shit to like Melo, CP, like, and he said he talked shit to everybody except him. He was like, you don't try to do this, so you good, Mike. And I was like, damn, like that was cool.
So I mean, what's your dream as a pro athlete to? I mean, besides obviously make it to the league, what's your dream besides that?
You know, it's funny thing about me, man, is like I don't really want success for myself, but like I'd rather have success to share it with the people around me. Like I want to be successful so I can put my family in a better situation. Like me right now, living like with the amount of money I have, like like if I was just living for myself, I'd be good. But it's like that's not what I'm doing. That's not my goal. My goal is to try to help all of my family, like my entire family, like not just my immediate family, like my entire family. My goal is to help my entire family like elevate their lives, and kind of expose them to like certain ventures they might not have been exposed to. Just like there's a couple of dudes in my neighborhood, like a couple of kids who kind of look up to me, and they see me doing like I bought a vending machine, and vending machines make money. Like I have a little clothing company, obviously, and they were just so amazed. Like they was like, wow, like you can make money all these types of ways. Like it was like I never knew that, and it's just like honestly, I never knew it either. But it's just like I had to find out on my own. But it's like now that I found out, I'm sharing it with you, and now you know at an earlier age than I did. You know, so I just want to just put people in positions to be successful and help themselves, but and also while helping myself, because obviously I want to be comfortable too. But like I said, man, I just want to just help my family, help my community, try to put people in better positions that they're in, and that's what'll give me the most fulfillment.
We're gonna close off with that. It's been 30 minutes, but I want to thank you so much for
Damn,
coming.
it's been 30 minutes. My bad, bro. Sheesh, that flew by. Maybe I'm having fun.
Hey, I appreciate you for coming on, man. It was great talking to you.
No problem, man. Thank you for having me. That was a cool 30 minutes. Sheesh.
Well, if you want to check out the Shot Clock Podcast, check out on Instagram at the Shot Clock Pod. Check me out on Instagram at Nathan R. Shaw. You want to go ahead and plug yourself on social media?
Check me out, G_Robinson1 on all platforms.
And then we got new merch coming out for the Shot Clock podcast, like I talked about before. You can check that out in the link tree in my bio. I'll put that in the link in the podcast below and YouTube. Again, thanks for tuning in. Nathan Shaw, Galen Robinson Jr. Thanks for watching.